68. Get up again. You said that John F. Kennedy's father's credo was don't get mad, get even. And that credo has a certain vengeful, clever wisdom in it, as far as it goes. But you might go even further with this credo. Don't just get even, get better. When Michael Jordan was a sophomore in the high school, he was cut from his high school basketball team. He was cut from his high school basketball team. Michael Jordan was told by his coach that he wasn't good enough to play high school basketball. It was a crushing disappointment for a young boy whose heart was set on making the team. But he used the incident not to get mad or not to get even, but to get better. We all have those moments when people tell us or insinuate to us that they don't think we measure up, that they don't believe in us. Some of us have entire childhood filled with that experience. The most common reaction is anger and resentment. The most common reaction is anger and resentment. Sometimes it motivates us to get even or to prove somebody wrong. But there's better way to respond. A way that is creative rather than reactive. How can I use this? How can I use this? Is the question that puts us on the road to creativity. That's the question that puts us on the road to creativity. It transforms the anger into optimistic energy so we can grow beyond someone else's negative expectations. So we can grow beyond someone else's negative expectations. Johnny Bench, Hall of Fame baseball player, knew what it was like to not be believed in. In the second grade, he said, they asked us what we wanted to be. In the second grade, he asked, he said, they asked us what we wanted to be. I said I wanted to be a baseball player, and they laughed. In the eighth grade, they asked the same question, and I said baseball player, and they laughed a little more. By 11th grade, no one was laughing. Our country has gone through a difficult period of time since World War II. We no longer value heroes in an individual's achievement as we once did. Competition has become a bad word, but the competition, if confronted enthusiastically, can be the great self-motivating experience in the world. What some people fear in the idea of competition, I suppose, is that we will become obsessed with succeeding at somebody else's expense, that we will take too much pleasure in defeating and therefore being better than somebody else. We will take too much pleasure in defeating and therefore being better than somebody else. Many times during conversations with my children's teachers, I told how the school has progressively removed grades and awards from some activities so that kids not feel they have to compare themselves to each other. So the kids don't feel they have to compare themselves to each other. They are proud of how they have softened their educational programs so that there's less stress and competition. They are proud of how they have softened their educational programs so that there's less stress and competition. But what they are doing is not softening the program, they are softening the children. If you are interested in self motivation, self creation, and being the best you can be, there is nothing better than competition. It teaches you the valuable lesson that no matter how good you are, there is always somebody better than you are. There is the lesson in humility you need. The lesson those teachers are misguidedly trying to teach you, the grades. It teaches you that by trying to beat somebody else, you reach for more inside of yourself. It teaches you that by trying to beat somebody else, you reach for more inside of yourself. Trying to beat somebody else simply puts the game back into life. If it's done optimistically, it gives energy to both competitors. It teaches sportsmanship. It gives you a benchmark for measuring your own growth. If it's done optimistically, it gives energy to both competitors. It teaches sportsmanship. It teaches sportsmanship and it gives you a benchmark for measuring your own growth. The poet William Butler Yeats used to be amused at how many definitions people came up with for happiness. But the happiness wasn't any of the things people said it was, insisted Yeats. The poet William Butler Yeats used to be amused at how many definitions people came up with for happiness. How many definitions people came up with for happiness, but the happiness wasn't any of the things people said it was, insisted Yeats. Happiness is just one thing, he said, growth. We are happy when we are growing. A good computer will cause you to grow. He will stretch you beyond your former skills level. He will stretch you beyond your formal skill level. If you want to get good at chess, play against somebody better at chess than you are. In the movie Searching for Bobby Fishers, we see the negative effect of resisting competition on a young chess genius until he starts to use the competition to grow. In the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, we see the negative effect of resisting competition, negative effect of resisting competition on a young chess genius until he starts to use the competition to grow. Once he stops taking it personally and seriously, it the game itself becomes energizing. Once he stops taking it personally and seriously, the game itself becomes energizing. Once he embraces the intriguing fun of competition, he gets better and better as a player and grows as a person. Once he embraces the intriguing fun of competition, he gets better and better as a player and grows as a person. He gets better and better as a player and grows as a person. I mentioned earlier that I had heard a report on the radio that there was a little league organization somewhere in Pennsylvania that had decided to not keep scores in its game anymore. That had decided not to keep scores in its game anymore because losing might damage the player's self-esteem. Because losing might damage the player's self-esteem. They had it all wrong. They had it all wrong. Losing teaches kids to grow in the face of defeat. Losing teaches kids to grow in the face of defeat. It also teaches them that losing is the same as dying. It also teaches them that losing is not the same as dying or being worthless. It's just the other side of winning. If we teach children the fear of competition because of possibility of losing, then we actually lower their self-esteem. What I mentioned earlier that I had heard a report on the radio that there was a little league organization somewhere in Pennsylvania that had decided not to keep scores in its game anymore, not to keep scores in its games anymore because losing might be damage the player's self-esteem. Losing might damage the player's self-esteem. They had it all wrong. Losing teaches kids to grow in the face of defeat. It also teaches them that losing is not the same as dying. It also teaches them that losing is it's not isn't the same as dying or being worthless. It's just a other side of winning. If we teach children to fear competition because of the possibility of losing, then we actually lower the self-esteem. Compete wherever you can, but always compete in the spirit of fun, knowing that finally surpassing someone else is far less important than surpassing yourself. Compete wherever you can, but always compete in the spirit of fun, knowing that finally surpassing someone else is far less important than surpassing yourself. If you are better at the game I am, if you are better at the game than I am, when I play against you and try to beat you, it's really not you I am after. It's really not you I am after. Who I am really beating is the old me. Who I am really beating is the old me. Because the old me couldn't beat you. Because the old me couldn't beat you.